let's face it, in the long run, there's either going to be safe AI or no AI, right? There is not a future with powerful, unsafe AI and human beings.
Welcome to For Humanity, an AI Risk Podcast, episode number 72, What the AI CEO Told Stuart Russell. I'm John Sherman, your host and president of the AI Risk Network. Thank you so much for joining me. On this channel, our mission is to make AI extinction risk kitchen table conversation on every street. If you support that mission, please hit subscribe, hit the alarm bell next to it, and if you can, donate. Like all shows on the AI Risk Network, For Humanity is an AI risk podcast for everyone. No tech background required. Today, we have quite possibly the biggest guest we've ever had on For Humanity. It's Professor Stuart Russell of the University of California at Berkeley. For nearly 5 decades, Professor Russell has shaped how the world thinks about artificial intelligence. First, wanting to build artificial general intelligence, the advanced AI that threatens our lives, like fellow AI godfathers Geoffrey Hinton and Yoshua Bengio. Now, Stuart spends most of his time warning the world about the catastrophe that could happen if we make AI models that are smarter than humans that we lose control of, and he spends a whole lot of time working towards solutions. We will get right to my 90-minute conversation with Professor Russell in just a few seconds, but I want to call out 2 things that you're going to hear in the interview that I found pretty stunning. First, Professor Russell tells a story of a major AI lab CEO, someone he says we would all know and recognize, works for a public company, who told him very recently his best hope for a good outcome with our future and AI is a Chernobyl-like AI-caused catastrophe. A Chernobyl-sized warning shot to wake up the world to the true dangers of AI. This AI company's CEO told Professor Russell he wants this to happen to give us a chance at a better future. I followed up by asking Professor Russell if he thinks that disaster would be created by a human bad actor or by the machines themselves. I was surprised to hear him say he thinks the most likely cause will be the machines themselves. Here is my interview with Professor Stuart Russell. All right, Professor Stuart Russell, thank you so much for coming on For Humanity. It's a thrill to meet you. I've been a fan of your work for a very long time,
Thank you.
and I really appreciate you coming on. I will just start out asking you, I come at this thing really as a parent first. I have 2 kids, 2 20-year-old kids. They're not kids anymore, I guess, 2 children, adult children. And from the perspective of what kind of future are we leaving for our kids and how do we talk to our kids about this? And so just from the first question I have is, how do you talk to your family about AI extinction risk? Whether that, I assume you have adult kids like me, maybe some grandkids, something like that. How do you
I
talk
do,
to
yeah,
your-
no grandkids yet.
No grandkids yet. Okay, nice. How do you talk to your family about this?
They might be sick of this by now. I think all of them probably have heard me give talks about this in various cities around the world. I think they understand. I mean, they're of a generation where they see directly the influence that AI can have on people. And so I think they have maybe a more visceral understanding of the potential impact of AI than our generation does. In our generation, we've mostly had careers, that worked normally. Most of us didn't feel threatened by AI in our careers. Maybe if you were a welder in a car factory, you certainly felt threatened by robots, but
Sure.
I think that was a minority experience. But now it's becoming a majority experience that lots and lots of people, taxi drivers, writers, artists, professors, people working in call centers, people working in warehouses, all of these people are aware of the risk to their livelihoods. I think fewer are aware of the risk to their existence.
Yes.
But I think there is increasing awareness of that. as well.
Yeah.
And I think the media have been doing it's a mixed bag. They do cover the story, but they often cover it as in sort of typical SmackDown style, where there's these guys who think there's
the doomers and the
risk, and then the doomers, the skeptics, and A said this and B said that, and I think they often describe the doomer view as the sort of extreme view that only a fringe of internet wackos think that. But and then you have to point out to the journalist, but okay, out of the top 10 AI researchers, how many of them are doomers? Well, okay, 9 out of 10. Out of the top 10 AI CEOs, how many of them are doomers? Well, okay, 9 out of 10. So how can this be a fringe view if 18 of the 20 leading people in the world think that there's a real risk to be concerned about? That's a weird narrative that's so I'm trying to get that part of the narrative straightened out.
Why do you think it is that you and I know about AI extinction risk and our neighbors do not?
I think there's a lot of other stuff happening. I think it's interesting actually. The need to constantly remind people about it. That there's so much other stuff happening in the world that takes people's attention. When I talk to politicians, they say, they get it, but they don't hear about it from their constituents.
Yep.
They hear about all kinds of other stuff. They might hear about deepfake, non-consensual sexual depictions, that kind of stuff. They certainly get, the impact on children, because parents worry about that, and you can always score political points by talking about wanting to protect children. So the politicians, they get that part of the narrative. But I think the existential part of the narrative is, it just still feels to most people a bit science fiction-y.
Yeah.
And I think there's a tendency, which is encouraged by a lot of Hollywood films, to just assume that, Tom Cruise will fly in and save the day. But, when you look at Mission Impossible movie, the one that just, the most recent one, where the AI system is taking over the world by infiltrating all of the nuclear command and control systems, the only way it's prevented is by Tom Cruise taking 8 million-to-1 risks.
Right, and
sequence.
getting each one clears,
each one, right? The 1 million-to-1 chance just happens to come to pass, and he squeaks by and saves the world. And then but if you think about that, right? Like, so we need there's a 1 in 10 to the 24 or 48 or whatever chance of survival when this happens. We need a miracle, basically. And I think that's the right message to take away. Unfortunately, right, our emotions take away, oh yeah, we saved the day, everything's good. Not, oh goodness, in almost all of the, billions of possible unfoldings of that story, we would have gone extinct. So I really think we need to get through popular culture a real visceral understanding of what it would be like